Hello, OISE Senior Science AQ teachers. Here we are. It is April 15th, and we are going to embark on a journey together for the next couple of months. The course runs from April 15th to June 24th, and in that time, we're going to be learning much together. I find that a lot of teachers, when they first come into this environment, they get a little confused simply because it looks a little bit different than what else you have been working with. This is not D2L. This is not Canvas. This is not Brightspace. I guess it's the same thing. It's not Google Classroom. But all these programs are very similar. So I'm just going to guide you through on what to click on, how to find places, and then you should be good to go. I haven't published the course, but when I do, it will be in your box. When you first walk in, please always look at the announcements first. It is in the announcements that I'll do my primary communication with you. In here, you'll see it says recent announcements, and once you've read it, it should go down into an archived area where you can access it later. When you first come in, you're going to want to read the announcements. So this is my first announcement. I can click on it to open it up to see the full announcement. It's quite lengthy, being the first announcement, and really it's a guide to tell you what you're supposed to do step by step as you walk into the course. I'm going to tell you right now in the same breath. On the left-hand side, there's a menu. If I click on Home, it'll bring me back to the original screen. If I click on Announcements, I'll see all the announcements that are listed in the course. So after a couple of weeks, there'll be quite a few in here. If I click on Syllabus, I will see the course document I emailed you, and it tells you what this course entails. I'm going to go over that very quickly to make sure that we're on the same page. You'll also see a calendar. And this calendar is a week-by-week calendar. So let's look at this calendar together. So you'll see the calendar is broken down by weeks. The very first assignment is actually on the first day of the course. And when something's assigned on the calendar, it's assigned that day, April 15th, and it's due before the next module. So if you take a look at this, the first day stuff, it's all due before April 19th. So technically, I would say April 18th, 11:59 p.m. I'm not checking at midnight to make sure it's all done, but that's kind of your guideline. Then you'll see that Module 2 is assigned on April 19th, so it is due on April 25th at 11:59 p.m. before we start Module 3. You'll see each week there is new learning. The learning are module based, so you're typically reading something, completing activities, talking and discussing amongst yourselves. When we get to the end of June, this is when the big projects are due. On June 14th, the concept presentation is supposed to be posted, and that whole sequence of events will begin. And on June 21st is when the pedagogical portfolio is due, among a few other things. Right, so that will give you an overview of what the course is supposed to look like. And with the course calendar, with the course of study, what I emailed you, in here you'll see some preamble. Most of you can really just skip a lot of this. It's the same documentation you'll see in most of the courses. And it gets more specific when you get to the actual courses assignments. So the concept presentation, it's a major project. And in here you're taking some kind of concept that you'll sign up for, and you're going to follow the criteria that's outlined in the document here. You'll see there's quite a few things in here. You don't necessarily have to meet every single point, but you're doing your best to hit most of the criteria. Also, a lot of these things are talked about in the course. So the expectation is that you're using the learning from the course, the discussions from the course, to help you produce a good concept presentation. The concept presentation isn't about content teaching the concept. It's about how you deliver the concept to all types of learners in various environments. So you're going to be using various teaching strategies, you're going to be enacting learning strategies, you're going to be using resources from the course in order to create this concept presentation. Two schools of thought. You could do one that you're an expert on, and then you can deliver something that you could share widely with the community of our class and outside, or you could pick a subject that you're not very strong on and you've been looking for an excuse to spend time developing your thought and your practice on that concept. Right? So whatever you feel most comfortable with. You can work on this with a partner. So if you see somebody who has a concept that you want to do as well, you both can sign up and work together, or you can work by yourself. However, it is one person or one group per concept, because in that second last week of the course, we are sharing, exchanging information and doing some peer feedback. Right? So as you look at this, you'll see that there are lots of little criteria that's expected around misconceptions, technology, 21st century teaching and learning strategies, literacy, numeracy, differentiated instruction, differentiated assessment, artistic representation, and so on and so on. We are looking at the inclusive classroom as a major focus, of course. So how can you incorporate anti-Black racism? How can you incorporate First Nations, Métis, Indigenous type of learning? And how can you normalize a class in such a way that everyone feels included? So those are concepts and ideas that we want to celebrate as we move to the next couple months together. All right. So go ahead and take a look at if you haven't already, the course of study. At the concept presentation week, you'll see that there's a number of things that you are to complete. And as we get closer to that date, I'll give you more rigid instructions of what to complete. But this, for those of you who like to work ahead, you'll see it in here. Once you scroll past the concept presentation, you'll see the pedagogical portfolio. This is a collection of your thought for the course. So I would highly recommend you look at the pedagogical portfolio. It's kind of overwhelming at first, so just skim through it and get some ideas. And as you are assigned various tasks throughout the course, almost every single one of those get pulled into your pedagogical portfolio. It's supposed to be a testament to your learning throughout this course, your growth from April 15th to June 24th, or maybe from sometime a long time ago until hopefully a time when you retire. And this is kind of like a framework. So the very first activity around the journal, which talks about how you apply the ethics and standards of care to your practice, you'll see that reflected in the pedagogical portfolio, curriculum maps, conversations with parents, marketing strategies, and so on. So there's all these places to put in your pedagogical portfolio, and this is due in the last week of the course. All right? But you're working on it all throughout the course. You can actually copy and paste the posts you put in the course into the pedagogical portfolio. That's the idea. It's not supposed to be more work. It's supposed to be a reflection of your work, a summary of your work, all collected in one spot. Modules is where you're going to be clicking on to get to the assignments in the course. And you'll see that the modules are organized module 1 through 15. The very first thing that you're going to work on, of course, is the welcome and start here. You'll see the course organization, contact info, which is a Google spreadsheet, a Google Doc. You can click on here, enter your email so that your group members, if they want to contact you, can touch base. And in case the system goes down, we have an alternate way to get in touch with you. So that's this link here. You'll see I've already filled it in. I've also told when's the best time to contact me. Of course, I'm teaching in the day, so my response time will be reflective of my school work time. You're also signing up for your concept presentation, as I mentioned, so that's this project sign up. And when you click on this link here, it's another Google document, and there are concepts listed. Most of the teachers here are doing biology. Unfortunately, there's only one chemistry teacher and one physics teacher. So it'll make it a little bit harder to get that feedback, that rich feedback we normally have when we have a bigger class. But that's what's happening for the spring session. So you're going to sign up for your senior concept that you would like to focus on. You must sign up for a concept that's in your specialty that you're pursuing. So all 3 courses are in the same environment. However, the biology, chemistry, and physics specialist will be focusing on concepts related to their subject of specialty. All right, so that's the project sign up, which you'll complete. And then, of course, I've given you a copy of the calendar here. It's a PDF version, so you can see it. I can load up calendar events inside the course itself, but I've found that the teachers in the past, they like having a nice overview or just a document that they can print out or keep somewhere, as opposed to trying to navigate and click on stuff in the course. Then we get to the first module. So in the first module, it's a little bit of fun, get to know you. You can click on it, read the instructions. I think it's self-explanatory. And I've actually answered the first. This is one of the very few ones that I will respond to. I typically don't respond to many because I find that when I respond, it changes the direction of the conversation, and I don't want that. I want you to drive the conversation. I do give you typically weekly or bi-weekly feedback. So I read every single thing. I comment on what you have said, and then I send you individual emails about your progress, what you've completed, and how you can improve, or just talking about certain ways to think differently. Right? So I'm carrying a conversation. It's private that I send to you back and forth, but you will be carrying conversations with each other in this course. So on module 1.2, this is really the first of the activities that is, germane to the course. You'll be reading some documents that have been published online somewhere, and then posting in your opinions, responses, views, and so on. Now, we don't want this to be a discussion-based course. I mean, it is because we're online. It is asynchronous, so we're not meeting in Zoom or Meets or anything like that. If there is a concept that someone really wants to talk about, I can make little sessions and invite you to come into it. Typically, I'll let you, or if I notice that there is a lot of you talking about a concept, I'll throw out a time and a date. But I try to be inclusive, and I know that when I put in these times and dates based on your family, based on your work schedule, not everyone can make it, and that makes the course a little bit less of an experience for some. So most of our conversation, our interaction, will happen through the discussion boards. The discussion boards, in that initial announcement, you'll notice that in most of these, there are several sections. And in each of these sections, each module, there'll be a specific module that I'm going to assign that I expect you to do deeper research, that you're doing a reading, and that you are posting something that's substantial, and then you're responding to other students in the class. And response isn't, yes, I agree. It's kind of reading what they've said, thinking about your own experiences, and then trying to bring the two together to say something that's rich and meaningful. All right? So you'll see that list in the calendar, and you'll see it in the course of study. So towards the end of the course of study, you'll see a list of all the concepts we're supposed to be covering. But your best place to know what you're supposed to do is to click on the announcements and to read my announcements. And typically somewhere in there, I'll be very clear about what I consider completion. So that's where you just look at what is posted and you respond. And then what's discourse. And that's the one where you are being richer in your response and you are reading everyone's contributions and then having that conversation, that discourse, as the word says. And it's 1.3, which will really drive whether or not you get an A, an A minus, a B plus, a C, or whatever in that discussion forum. All right? So hopefully that is enough information for you to be able to navigate the course. Grades I don't use. As I said, I'll send you emails either once a week, more likely once every couple of weeks, that will tell you where you are, your status in the course. And these other things that are blinded out, I can see it, but when you get to your course, you will not be able to see it, and I won't be opening those up either. Okay, so if you have any questions, please email me at the utoronto.ca address. If possible, try avoiding using the email within the course. It's a little bit more laborious. It's a little bit more tedious to use, and the email is a great option to go back and forth with. Okay, good luck everybody, and I'll talk to you soon.